Hello, this is Cory from the BachScholar YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me today. This is a fun and exciting video I have for you, Practicing with Cory, in which I just sort of take you in and sort of practice out loud on a piece that I happen to be working on. And it's something that I thought would be very interesting for all of you out there in YouTube. You know me probably from my ragtime and my lots of Bach and classical and things like that. And, I haven't done a lot of performing of contemporary music, contemporary classical music, that is modern 20th century music. Actually, let me tell you, when I was back a long time ago, 30 some years ago, when I was in college, both as an undergraduate and a graduate student, I played a lot of contemporary music. As an undergraduate, I was involved every year, excuse me, in contemporary music festivals that my piano professor organized at California State University, Sacramento. I was actually known as the contemporary music guy among my peers as a piano student. And I studied with David Burge at the Eastman School of Music, who was very well known for his performance of contemporary music. Actually, I think he won a Grammy Award actually for the Macrocosmos of George Crumb. By the way, I played some George Crumb. Back in my past, many years ago, I used to play a lot of contemporary music, and not lately, not a lot on YouTube, but this was in my library, Samuel Barber Excursions, and I've heard them a few times, I think, and, I kind of liked them, but I decided just to, I had some time on my hands, and I wanted to try something new, so I picked this out of my library, and opened it up and started learning a couple of the pieces. Actually, what got me on this was the Aaron Copland pieces I was working on. I sort of like that style from that era. These were published in 1945. That's the Aaron Copland 4-piano blues that I've uploaded a few of already on YouTube. And I had tutorials of those on the Well-Rounded Pianist. By the way, I have a super slow version of this on the Well-Rounded Pianist. If you become a member, you can watch that from an overhead view where I play at half speed. Anyway, I was playing Aaron Copland and wanted to investigate some more things of that era. So these are published in 1945. The Copland Piano Blues are published in 1949, around the same time. Copland and Barber were only 10 years apart in age. Aaron Copland being born in 1900, Samuel Barber being born in 1910. So they were contemporaries. And I'm looking today at the first piece. They don't have names. This is just number one. It says Un poco allegro. Barber gives a metronome mark of 144, which is actually very fast. I think most people probably even play it faster than that, but I'm not up to that speed yet. I'll be honest with you. I've been working on this for a few days now, probably 3 days, and it's definitely not up to that speed yet. But I thought it would be fun for me just to introduce this to you. It's something that might sound a little strange if you're not used to this kind of music. This is what some music theorists might call bitonal. Bi meaning two, of course, and tonal meaning tonality. Barber uses a lot of, first of all, in the left hand he uses an ostinato. That might be a term that is new to you, but an ostinato is a repeating figure in the left hand. And he uses, the left hand is pretty simple actually. The left hand just does this. Just does that through the whole thing, although it does also go into F. It does it in F. goes into G. So C, F, and G. It uses the same note, the same ostinato main notes as the 12-bar blues. And actually, Samuel Barber writes here in this little intro here, these are excursions in small classical forms into regional American idioms. So you can see that he uses the sort of the 12-bar blues pattern here in the left hand. Their rhythmic characteristics as well as their source of folk material and their scoring reminiscent of local instruments are easily recognized. So anyway, what you have in the right hand going over these ostinatos are basically diatonic type little like riffs and things that he has. Kind of nice playing around. It sounds a little jazzy. I like these pieces. They're kind of jazzy sounding. And, you know, like I said, I'm not up to speed on this yet, but it's fun to play slowly even. And let me start here. I'm going to start from the beginning. And if you don't have this score, I have a link down below where you can get this on Amazon. Due to copyright reasons, of course, I can't provide free sheet music for you. And I don't think this is most likely not on IMSLP because it's under copyright, published in 1945. So anyway, you might be well off if you want to learn these just to simply buy the book on Amazon from the link I give you below here. But now you heard here, you have, I like that. He uses these minor seventh chords. They're actually these half diminished chords actually. And then what's interesting, he uses 4 against 3. So you have 4 here. Like in Chopin's Fantasy Impromptu. Some of you may have seen my video on 4 against 3 patterns, especially applied to Fantasy Impromptu. And here he has 3 in the right. He has that. But it's sort of playing with your mind a little bit. You have triplets versus quadruplets. Triplets versus quadruplets. And I would recommend practicing with a metronome on this when you practice it. Well, let's see what speed I'm doing at. Around the 80s or 90s. You know, I can do it faster if I want, but let's try 96 here. Pianissimo here. So, yeah, I'm trying to do the dynamics as much as possible, but when you're learning this, you know, I mean, I would just keep the dynamics sort of at a moderate level when you're working out the notes and the rhythms. I think that, you know, notes and rhythms, when you're learning that, the dynamics aren't that important, really. I mean, just keep it at a normal kind of dynamic level. Concentrate more on the accuracy of the rhythms. So I'm going to take it here where I left off here on the 4th line down. That's really fun. Actually, let me mention this run here going on. It's a scale run. Okay, you can do it with one hand, as Barber has just all the notes going up. Most people would do that with one hand, with the right hand. But I think it's, even if you can do that, excuse me, I have to clear my throat here. Even if you can do this run with one hand, you know, I think it works well. Actually, in my opinion, I've been experimenting with doing 4 notes. 4, 4, 4. Actually, you can get a much cleaner sound and a much more pearly kind of cleaner sound if you just break it between the hands. I like to do that anyway. And also this is a difficult part here on the page turn. This is the only part that I can't turn the page on. So I've memorized, actually, yeah, I think yesterday or a couple days ago, I actually just took a few minutes and maybe 20 minutes or so and just memorized this part here so I wouldn't have to turn the page, because I'm going, you know, I'm doing that and don't have time, can't turn the page because both my hands are tied up. So then after this run, then you have the right hand, so you can turn the page there if you're reading the music. Let's go on. I'm on the second line of page 4. Do 96. I'm on. Also, one other thing, the second line of page 4, this, I switch the hands around here, because what Barber takes this ostinato here and he puts it up an octave. He puts it up an octave instead of here. He has it here, and then he indicates here with the right hand. But I find it very awkward to do this and to move this up here and your left hand down here in a very short amount of time, actually in a split second. To get around that, just switch the hands around. So you just do that. So if you switch the hands around, you don't have to jump up here and put your hand over. You can if you want to, but to avoid that and to make it smoother, I would suggest switching the hands around. Okay, now I'm on the third line. Here, let's put the metronome back on. That's kind of nice. You have these biting, clashing dissonances. It's a tritone. And you have these jazzy kind of rhythms playing around with the 16ths and the 8th notes. Now it goes back into sort of a piano volume. And I would suggest when you have these da-da-da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun, when you have those, a lot of people would maybe try to play these with 5 and 4. I can't even do it. So I'll be honest with you, I can't. At a fast speed, I couldn't do that with 5 and 4. So I play 3 and 2. I play 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, and then 1, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. You could also go 4, 3, 4, 3. And it's much easier that way than trying to use 5 and 4 there, which will be very awkward at a high speed. And then he intersperses these with these little, it's actually a canon. In the right hand he has, and in the left hand he has, and so it's canonic is the term for it. Or sort of a stretto, also that would be the fugal term for it. And you have to jump. You have that. I'm on page 4. Let me play from the third line of page 4. This is 96. By the way, I'm just stopping here and throwing in some commentary here. By the way, if you watch my super slow video on the well-rounded pianist, I do play at very close to 72. So if you take half of 144, which Barber indicates here, half of 144 is 72. So half speed, exactly half speed would be this. Probably notice it's piano with a forte. So those canonic episodes there of one measure are forte, and then he goes back to piano. So that's about half speed. But I'm going to go back up to about maybe 3/4 speed or 2/3 speed, up into the 90s here, 96. So I'm on the last measure of page 4. That's so fun. I love this. It sounds weird. I know. If you're not used to this kind of music, you'll probably drive people crazy if you live in the same house or apartment as they do. They'll probably start throwing things at you if you practice this for a couple hours. They'll tell you to shut up and start throwing things at you. It can be annoying, but it's to other people, but it's really fun to play. It's very kind of neat. I would suggest the fingering when you have these. I would suggest 4-3-4-3, 2-1-2-1. It's hard for me, at least, to fit 5 in there. I don't know, it seems constricting when I use 5. I get a much cleaner sound and much more reliable speed when I use 4 there. So I try to avoid 5 whenever possible when you have these fast passages like that. 4/3, 4/3, 2/1, 2/1. They're minor thirds like E flat and C, separated by B and G sharp. Like that. So let's see here. Also, I wanted to say one other thing. Oh yes, with the ostinato, I forgot to mention, I would suggest the fingering on all 3. On the one in C, the one on F, and the one on G. I would highly suggest 5, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4. Don't. The tendency is to want to do this. 5, 1, 2, 3. Most people would sort of play 2 there, 2, 3 instinctually there, but that's not a good fingering, because if you play 2, 3, then you have to jump to 2 on that one, and then you have to jump back to G with 2. But if you use 3, 3, 4, 2 is right there, and then 2, 3. So you have to do less jumping. I think it's a smoother fingering. 5, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4. 5, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4. That has to be automatic. Actually, I should have said that in the very beginning, but I'm saying it now. It should be automatic. So practice it in all those 3 keys. Okay, now I'm in the last measure here of page 5. And Barber has these. That's what in music theory you call quartalism. Quartal with Q-U-A-R-T. Quartal harmonies. Quartal harmonies are harmonies that are built on fourths, the perfect fourths. This was very popular in the 40s, I think, with a lot of the composers, like Copland used them a lot, and Barber used them a lot in this, and also his other works, like his piano sonata, for example, which I played many years ago, uses quartal harmonies. Very jazzy sounding. And he has quintuplets. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bum. 1. It's actually easier than it sounds. It sounds hard, but it's not. It rolls off the fingers really easily. That's a good, it's interesting that these are all good page turn places, because if you're reading the music, you have right after that, with both hands, you have 2 measures of this. So that's when you turn the page. I'm on page 6. Now cross over. I'm just going to check where I am. It's good to do this. It's good to choose a working tempo that you're at. I'm working in the 90s somewhere right now. I'm around 96. So don't always have the metronome on, but put it on just to test yourself every now and then. Like right now, I'm testing myself. And just to test myself that I'm not, speeding, I'm not going too fast, or I'm not too slow. So I'm going to keep it off now, and I'm going to play from... This is a classic bitonalism. Bitonalism here. I know it sounds a little, it sounds a little perverted or something. Bitonalism. But you just play the right hand. It's very diatonic. That means he's not chromatic here. He's actually using traditional triadic harmonies from the scales, major and minor scales. And you can just practice. It's good to practice with hands alone like this. That's just the right hand. Now I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to do both hands here from the second line of page 6. Gets a little crazy here. Let me just break this down here. So from the bottom of page 6, the second measure, you have those clashing ones that happened earlier. Remember when that happened earlier? It happened like on the page 4, the third line down. It happened there, and now it's happening again in a different key. So you have that part always reminds me of Woody the Woodpecker. You know, Woody the Woodpecker, the old cartoon. He has more of those thirds. And once again, 4-3, 4-3, 2-1, 2-1. Try to avoid 5. Because 5 is weird. I don't know, I can't make 5 work there. There I would use 5. Because your hand is supported better that way. You have a minor third here, C sharp and E. And a major third here, F sharp and A sharp. Now this part is really nice because your fingers kind of fit right into the keys. Then when you get there, you have more 3s against 4s. So you have 3s against 4s here. On page 7, third line down. Then you have a 3 against 2. written out trills. And there's another nice page turn here. Both hands are tied up, so you can't turn the page, but if you just memorize that one measure, then you can turn here when you just have the left hand on page 8. This is a really fun part, when you have these sort of clashing harmonies going on. I'm going to play again from the second line down of page 7 here, the first bar. For a few bars there. I'm going to put it on 96 just to test myself here. I'm going to play now from I'm going to play page 6, bottom line, second bar. Turn the page. So yeah, it's, I'm pretty solid at that speed now. So now, when I'm at about that speed, I'm going to start speeding it up gradually. And it needs to be organic. You need to speed it up. Don't force yourself to go faster, but it's going to happen. You just have to live with the piece for a while, and it will sort of happen by itself. Also, this is the part where it's fortissimo. So this is the only really, really loud part here, fortissimo. And then when you get to these written out trills, that's pianissimo. Okay, so also, I would suggest that if you're at a speed that's over about 40, if you're a speed over about 80 per quarter note, then you should start also practicing it at the half note value. So I'm at 96 now. I'm demonstrating 96. I'm going to take half of 96, which is 48. Half of 96, which is 48. Now, I'm going to play what I just played, but I'm going to play it with a half note beat. That's a good way to conceptualize it so you can get it faster. So I'm going to play from the bottom of page 6, second bar, at 48 per half note, okay? I wanted to say, if you do the half note beat, you have to make sure Usually you don't want any of the other meters. You want only the 4/4. So if he has like 7/8 or 5/8 or any of those other meters, that's going to mess you up. Or even 3/2. If you have, occasionally he has a 3/2 measure in there earlier. So that this only works on parts that only have 4/4 time all the way through. Okay, now we're on the last page, page 8. And I'm going to put it back on the half note beat here. I like that ending. He says no ritardando, just end it right there. Also, these, just like in the beginning, remember when I suggested not to go, when I suggested to switch the hands around on page 4 and the second line, instead of doing this, that, to actually switch around, I would suggest that also at the end, because it's much easier that way. You have, it's winding down. This is sort of the coda section here on the last page. You have these, you have just these sort of triads and seventh chords. And what I would do at the very end, when you have the ostinato in both hands, you have another ostinato in the right hand that's supposed to cross over. But I would suggest doing this. Most people do this. Okay, they have to go, I'm right at the, next to the last bar on the, next to the last line, right here on page 8. Most people would want to do this. They would have to jump the left hand here and cross over with the right hand. It's really hard to do at a high speed. I would suggest just this. Then your right hand has the ostinato, and your left hand plays the lowest. So you don't have to cross over. It's actually much easier that way, and actually you get much more control. But I would suggest taking this C with the right hand. No, actually with the left hand, I'm sorry. So because otherwise you have to cross over with the left hand, or you have to do a weird fingering to connect that with the right hand. So I take one of those with the left. So that's C with left. It's much easier that way than it is indicated the way it's written here. This is fun music. This is fun music. And it's fun at any speed. Don't feel like you have to play it as fast as everyone else, or else you're not going to play it at all. Don't get into that mode, okay? If your if your technique isn't up to snuff and you can't play as fast as everyone else, it's not a big deal. It's fun. work at it at your own speed and see what you can do with it. Have fun with it. It's fun music. Warn friends or family members who happen to be in your house or anywhere to leave while you're practicing for 2 hours because they might start throwing things at you. But I love this music. I think it's fun. It's fun to play. It's fun to practice. It's something totally different. Samuel Barber, Excursions. This is number 1. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Go out and get your copy of Samuel Barber Excursions. Link below this video and have fun with this music. Until the next video. Bye.